Hey everyone, CCG Genesis here with another deck profile featuring Valentina, the Princess of Love. So, she's been a ruler I've been playing since Grim Cluster format, and was unfortunately not able to use her in my first HGP that I really wanted to use her in, especially when it was all Reflector Frayne, Alice World, just Reflector Frayne everywhere. And I felt like I had a really strong matchup versus them because it's just a strong practice versus it, but that's not the point. So her ability is to pay 2 blue to flash in a 2-drop resonator, a 2-drop water resonator from your hand or less. So what this does is that it enables you to flash in creatures that have on enter effect when this card enters the field effects. There are 2 drops, so like Squire the Ocean Lady draws you a card on your opponent's turn, you're able to block with them the same turn that you flash them in. It basically gives you a huge advantage, so the next turn you're able to swing with them. They cannot be countered either, which is a huge benefit because they're not being played by you; they're being played by her ability. So you're able to flash in your resonators on your opponent's turn. They can't counter them, so they either use a bunch of resources on their turn to set up a board, and then okay, flash in a bunch of my dudes on your turn. All right, my turn. Restand all my stones, and now I have all my stones open to be able to use my cards like Space Time Anomaly, have Apollo Breakspear, and all that. So, other than that, let's go to continue the deck profile. So, her J Ruler side isn't going to be really used all that much. In the video, you see me just flip her over just because I wanted to flip her over mainly. So, she's a 5/5 body, which is relatively weak, but on your turn, she cannot be damaged. So she takes 0 damage, so you're able to force trades with her. She could solo a whole team by herself. She could solo very well by herself. I've had times where I legitimately just had to J-activate her and just like completely solo the field by herself. So she's relatively strong by herself, and then her God's Art is pay 2 blue, 2 colorless, take control of opponent's resonator. It becomes yours permanently. So you're able to swing, they declare a block, take their blocker, swing for game, or rest with her Regalia, force it to recover and force it to block, God's Art it, swing with their creature if it has swiftness. It's very useful. So we'll go on more with that later on. Plus she gets a +1/+1 for every card in your hand. So we'll move on to Resonators. 4 Cheshire Cats. Cheshires are basically the heart and blood in this deck. It draws you a card. You get to stack one on top of your deck. It basically recycles itself, so you don't deck out. Well, you can deck out still, but it's hard to deck out with the Cheshire Cats as long as they stay in their deck. So you're able to know what your next turn play is. You're able to get rid of cards that you don't want if it's a bad matchup by blocking it, shuffle the entire deck. The card has hexproof, so it can't die by battle. It can't die by card effects. You can't target it with card effects. So it's a block. It's basically an ass that you can block with, basically. Moving on next, we have 3 Squires. Squires are very lovely in this deck. Just a simple flash in, draw a card. So it just recycles your hand. It just cycles into your hand, basically. So you just want to, on your opponent's turn, flash in, draw a card. Or they try to score in Dark Alice, like, okay, flash in, draw a card. If it's basically your only resonator. Other than that, that's basically all it is. It's just a draw card, which is nice. Cycles your deck as a 2-drop. 2 Cinderella. Cinderella is basically a late game monster by herself. I said this in the Shion video. But instead of that, in Valentina, you could bounce her back player, bounce her back player, bounce her back player. She's so annoying in Valentina, and then she's a constant blocker. She's a constant threat, especially in the control matchup where she's just a wall and a force to be reckoned in the control matchup. So 3 Shion. Shion didn't really see much value to me. So she's easily replaceable. You could probably replace her with Water Wizards or Little Mermaids of Tragic Love. I'm sadly I didn't use my Mermaids of Tragic Love actually, but the toughness of Little Mermaids isn't really relevant. But Shion's ability to discard a card from your hand and pay a blue tapper to bounce a card is not that bad, but I feel like there could have just been better choices. So you can replace her with Water Wizards, up to you. When you have less cards than your opponent, you can draw a card, so you flash her in when on the beginning of your opponent's turn, so they have 6 cards to your 5, or to have 7 cards to your 5, 6. Depends. You just flash or draw a card. That's all it is. As you know, it's the same. Everything's either draw a card or 2-drop blue Resonator so far. 3 Hera. Hera is lovely. Flash her in, destroy 0 mana Regalia, draw a card, or force them to get rid of the Regalia. You even destroy your own Regalia if you really wanted to draw a card. It's just nice. The 5/5 body is also nice to have. It's a decent cycle card. Hera's still really relevant right now. They're still really strong. Moving on. 4 Muse. Muse is very lovely. The ability to have all your creatures not die if they can't overkill them or equally kill them is lovely. The potential draw is also nice, so you just flash her in, call a top card of the deck. The most of this deck is Resonators. So you could call Resonators and have a, I don't know, 50% chance, not even 50, 70% chance of getting a Resonator on your top of your deck most of the time. So it's hard to miss the Muse, but there are times where you do miscall and you don't draw a card. But the ability itself is worth playing. 4/6 body, not bad. Better than Squire. So you still play Squire either way. Her artwork's also very beautiful. What can I say, right? What more can I say about this? 2 Tomoe. I'm trying her out. So she's actually more of a utility card. Being able to flash her in 2-drop, if anything, is nice. Being able to play her turn 3 to bounce Resonator is nice. Being able to play her turn 4 to bounce 2 Resonators is nice. So she's has a very strong utility. I only have 2, so I'm only playing 2. I might play more if I had more of her. She's very useful in my opinion. It just depends on the matchup. She's also an easy side deckable card. Sorry if I'm talking too fast, but this is a deck that I know quite a lot actually. So she basically has 2 Awakenings, so you actually have to play her from your hand. So you can't flash her in and then activate her Awakenings, so you have to play her from your hand and then awaken her. But that's fine. You can still flash her in. She's still a 5/6 body, which is a decent enough body. Then 2 Speaker Creations. We have 5 targets for Speaker Creations to look for. So when it enters the field, it searches for a field addition. So we have Shangri-La's and Alice's World. You're also able to pay a white to sacrifice herself and kill target field edition as well. So you kill off your opponent's field editions. It's very useful. Basically, you just want her to search off Alice's World or Shangri-La. Plus, if you notice, every Resonator is a different type, most likely. So you have Fairy Tale, Human, Swordsman, Ancient, and then here you have a Human Wanderer. Alice's Guard Dimension, I play 3 of her. She's a 7/7 body with flying. A blue, pay 1 blue, make target Resonator hexproof. So she late game, herself late game is a huge bother to deal with as well. Also the fact that you can tap her, pay a white, remove herself and another Resonator from the game. So she's also spot removal, and she makes you immune to spot removal. So she's a really strong body. She's really strong board presence by herself. She can protect herself. She can protect all the Resonators on your field. What more can I say? 2 Valentina's Monarch. Sorry, 2 Valentina's Puppet Monarch. It's just easy. Player, take target creature, yours until they die, until she dies. It's fine. I heard Snatch Steal is a pretty good card, right, guys? Who agrees with me? Two Mooge Darts. Mooge Darts is very interesting. So when she enters the field, she gets 2 counters. When another 6 stages enter the field, you put 2 more counters on her. So you remove 1 counter to put target Resonator to rest, or you remove 2 counters to draw a card. So if you have played, she has 4 counters. Now she has 2 counters, which is usually that doesn't happen, but if it does happen, congratulations, you have 4 counters on 1. You could basically force 4 Resonators to go into rest or draw 2 cards with this one. She has a very strong utility as well, basically being able to draw or to rest. Mainly I use the ones to rest so I can do some easy damage and then play the Alice's World. She's also a 6/Spirit. Another typing to go along with Alice's World. And next we play Titania. You have a lot of small creatures. You can just rest Treasure Cats and play her. Very simple. She's a huge body, she has flying. She bumps up all your other Resonators as well because they're all water. So you're able to have a huge board. And she's easy to bring out in the deck. Sadly, you can't flash her in, but you know what? You don't want to. So let's go on to spells. 3 Glyphnir. Glyphnir basically is another reason to play the deck. So you tap, force Resonator to block. You could pitch the card to sacrifice, pitch a card to draw a card, pitch it, draw a card. And then if your J ruler is Valentina, you could stand target rested Resonator, stand it, and force it to block as well. So there's a lot of cute tricks that you could do. You could do a lot of board control with this deck, which is what I usually do with this deck. It's a huge board control deck. And then if your ruler hits your opponent or there's another J ruler, you get to draw an extra card. So that's lovely. 3 Apollo Break Spear. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 3 Apollo Break, the Moonblast. Basically, you just use it to put target Resonator to your opponent's deck. You can't weaken it, you're not Kaguya. There's nothing much. So you basically put... It has a lot more utility. So you can force attacking unit back to the top of the deck. It stuns their draw for the next turn. So you know what they're drawing next turn. So you can be prepared for next turn as well. Then when you play Force Space-Time Anomaly, why wouldn't you play it? It's fucking broken, it's all hell. Potentially draw 8 cards with it. It has Remnant, -5/-5 Remnant. Draw a card. Draw 8 cards. That's what I like about it. Plus the fact that you can do more favorable trades, you can kill rulers with it. Then we play 2 Valentina's Reach. Valentina's Reach is has a lot of utility. Mainly it's for more control matches rather than aggro. Aggro, you never actually just use it. In control, you just want to discard your entire hand, or you could just draw your entire hand after you discard your entire hand. That's all it is. Three Shangri-La. I would play 4, but I can't find my 4th one for some reason, but whatever. So, when it enters the field, draw a card. If you have 5 or more cards in your hand, you get your entire field of water Resonators gets +2/+2. If not, they only have +1/+1. And that's all it is. It's just a nice buff. It draws you a card, so it cantrips. It's nice. It basically filters your hand, gets you new cards. Otherwise, very much utility in the deck. 2 Glimpses of Kaguya. So Glimpse of Kaguya is basically for activate abilities. A ruler activates your ability, negate it, draw a card. It negates God's Art, it negates Resonator activate abilities. Like if I was playing against Alice, I'd like negate Alice, draw a card. I mean, at that point she just does it again, but it doesn't matter. Either way, it's just utility-wise, draw a card. You do it on Grim, negate the Grim Search, they pitch the card as cost, you get to draw a card. Malkina, pay 2, they pay X amount, negate it, draw a card. Any God's Art, negate it, draw a card. Then the main bread and butter of the deck, Alice's World. So as you notice, all the Resonators are different types. You had Fairy, Fairy Tale, Human, Wanderer, Myth, Swordsman, Six Sage, Spirit, name it. It's probably in there. So your goal is to Alice World, swing, end turn, swing, Alice World, and that's your real main win condition. Obviously you can win without Alice World, but it's just style points, man. You gotta go for real style points, right? Alice's World is basically your end game finisher and your combo of the deck. Obviously you have no reincursion. You could play Horn if you want to. I couldn't find my Horn, so there's a lot of cards that you can use to obviously make the deck a little bit more optimal, but this is the way I played it beforehand. Well, besides the Xions and besides the Valentina's Reaches, this is how I used to play it beforehand, back in when Grim Cluster was still legal in New Frontiers. But other than that, yeah, you can use horn, you can use bows and bears if you wanted to. But remember that you still do want to have a nice full hand so Shangri-Las can get buffed. It gives you the nice +2/+2. But other than that, yeah, that's the entirety of the deck myself. Oh, I forgot to mention the stones. Oops. 4 light vapors, because you saw the resonators, you saw the Apollo Brace Sphere, you have Alice's Guardian Dimension, you have Apollo Breaks. Then that's pretty much why you play the white. Other than that, your main focus is dark because you play the space times more. You have Valentina's Reach, and that's pretty much it. Like, all it is mainly is just mono blue. If you want to just throw more mono blue in there and not have to worry about Captain Hooks, that's also fine. You want to throw in Captain Hooks too, go for it. Captain Hooks is probably a really good card in this deck too. You want to throw Lunar Lakes, that's fine. Plenty of options to use in the deck. The deck is very versatile, obvious. And then my favorite stone ever, my little blue stone. So I consider this one of the best stones in the game. It still is. Rulers of Moria is obviously the best stone in the game. You call a type of stone, and now it becomes that type of will forever. So you call blue. It can only buff blue resonators by +2/+2, which is fine. That's all you need to do. So you can use this reaction. They try to use like thunder on something +2/+2 on it. Doesn't die. Congratulations. So that's the deck profile, guys. This is my favorite deck in Force of Will. This is the deck I've been playing and I've been wanting to play forever now. And I hope you guys really enjoyed the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to leave a comment down below. Leave future suggestions about deck types of decks, types of wonder decks you might want to see. Suggestions on gameplay if I can hopefully get some, because sadly, I mean, I could probably build a deck myself if anything. But other than that, yeah, please leave a comment down below. It helps the channel grow. It really does. It gives me future ideas. It gives me suggestions. And it also it's the YouTube algorithm, obviously, because the more comments the channel has, the more likes the video has, it's going to be shown upon YouTube, and hey, it's going to let other people want to see this, basically. Make other people want to see this. So if you want to help the community grow, guys, keep leaving comments, keep leaving likes. And once I hit 200 subscribers, I'm thinking about making a Patreon. So with the Patreon, all of the donations will go to the channel. If anything, I'll finally get an editor. I'll probably start doing box tournaments. Probably start doing box tournaments. If anything, I'll maybe even make a Facebook channel if you guys want me to do that. But I want to see maybe like 200 likes on the video for me to make a Facebook, because I have not made a Facebook since fucking high school, and if my friends have not convinced me to do it by this point, it's not gonna happen. Alright, so again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time.